Well, it's March in the garden and everything's looking great. Everything's looking wonderful. We got plants everywhere. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? We've got Swiss chard, we've got snow peas, onions, we've got all kinds of stuff, leeks and kale and spinach and lettuce and arugula, and so many plants. And it's the 1st of March. You know, I'm going to try something a little different this year for my tomatoes. I've gone out and bought a few 6-packs. And what I want to do here, so you can see that I'm digging a hole, I'm going to bury this 15-gallon bucket 3/4 of the way into the hole. And just below the grade, I'm going to drill some holes in the bucket right about here, so that when I plant the tomatoes around the bucket, I'll use the bucket to fill it up with water. Now inside the bucket, I'm going to put high quality compost so I can make more of a compost tea. And the theory is that by pouring the water into the bucket rather than watering all the way around, you're not washing out the roots from the plants and you're not dousing the leaves so much. And I'm also wondering if this black surface will act as kind of a little bit of a heat sink for like a microclimate to help warm up the tomatoes. I don't know, I saw it on the internet and I'm going to try it. I've never done this before, but I thought it sounded like a pretty good idea. I'll follow up later and we'll see how it goes. Oh, by the way, this is the area of soil that started out a few years ago as being rock hard clay. The clay in here is just unbearable. It is like a rock. But in there, I can shovel in up to 3 feet deep. Started out by digging a 4-foot hole in here, put 24 inches of wood chips, filled the rest of it with decent quality soil. I keep amending it every year, and we'll see what this ends up looking like. Let me get back to digging for a while. I don't know if you can see this, but down in the hole there, I finally reached a level of clay. And I remembered that when I put the wood chips in, I did put a few bucket loads, you know, with the Bobcat, of the old clay soil on top of the wood chips to kind of settle it down. So I've got about 18 to 20 inches of really good soil that just digs so beautifully. There's a little bit of clay in here. You can see it down in here, but that doesn't seem to affect the way it grows in here. So in essence, what I created was a moisture sink with all the wood, and amazingly, I don't have to water this area near as much as I do the rest of the garden. And there we have it. I just filled this up with water and it's slowly seeping in. I put holes about 2 inches below the surface. I filled this bucket up 2/3 of the way with compost, so it's kind of making a compost tea. The bottom is open, so it's draining down low, which hopefully will keep the lower area of this irrigated and the roots will go deeper. I did bury all these plants probably 4 to 5 inches up the trunk, out the stalk. And the tomatoes, you can do that. You should bury tomatoes deep because they'll send out lots and lots of roots and make for a stronger plant. I know I put way too many plants in this little area. Like I said, this is an experiment. We'll see what happens. I am using a real tight tomato cage here that you can't even get your hands through, which is kind of a nuisance, but because we've got such a problem with rabbits right now, I need to protect these young plants. So I can go back in here and cut out some of these openings so I can get my hands in there and it'll be fine. But for right now, I got to protect these plants. So tell me, how's your garden doing right now? If it's not planted, I say you better get started.